Welcome to our spoilers. I am Adam. We are now on Hawkeye episode 5, and I think that I may be part of the problem here, where I'm willing to put aside everything, all of my misgivings about the show up until this point, because this is a very strong episode. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that, regardless of the last, 12 seconds, where it's like after fucking around for so long, they just kind of are just like, yeah, that's the Kingpin. Where it's like, and when I say for so long, I mean they've been referencing a man above Echo since episode 3. There's someone pulling the strings above Echo, someone bigger and more powerful, and they've been referencing that throughout the show, almost since the beginning, and for them to be like, and then it's like, here he is, it's like, instead of being like, oh, who's that? It's just like, yeah, that's the Kingpin. I'm like, alright, cool, we're going to be upfront about this, we're going to acknowledge this. And I really like how they changed in the credits the view where it's, it's them on the rooftops, and then, it's in the shadow of Kingpin. That was really cool. For the rest of the episode, I mean, I like how people apparently were surprised that Yelena got blipped. I don't think that was necessarily a surprise, considering Florence Pugh hasn't aged in the last 6 months, and, there's been a 5-year time lapse, and they can't really just say, like, oh, and, she just looks exactly the same as she did in 2018, or even 2017, when that movie took place. But, yeah, that makes, I don't know why people were surprised by that. I don't know why that was something that people were like, oh my god, they blipped you. Yelena got blipped. I think the way they did it was cool, where she started to, fade away and then almost immediately come back, and then the room around her changes. Because this is the first time we've seen a blip in return from the perspective of someone who got blipped. When Monica came back, we don't see Monica dust away. We just see her return. In Far From Home, in Endgame, we don't see anyone return from the blip. They just show up. And in Far From Home, they just kind of show up in the, what's it called? In the gym. We don't really see anything about that. Now, what's it called? Here we see, it's from her perspective, so we see her fade out and then fade right back in again, and it to show the passage of time. And I think that, the room changing the way it does, the slow change of the room, is meant to be her perspective, because I think your brain wouldn't be able to process if a room got repainted entirely in 5 seconds, and you're in the room, and all of a sudden, in a snap, the room's a different color. Your brain would have to fade the two together, I guess, is what they're trying to say, which I could buy. It's I don't know how my brain would process that. I mean, granted, it's if an image changed in front of me, I don't know. It's also something that wouldn't change. I don't know. It's an interesting kind of visual, but I don't know how, why it would happen like that. And I think that, what else was there? I like the relationship between Kate and Yelena. If this is where we're going to go with the new relationship between Hawkeye and between Hawkeye and Black Widow, I like where this is going. And Kate is going to have her new costume next episode, obviously, in the same way that Falcon got his costume at the end of episode 5. Here we have the guy who's making the costume go, yeah, I got a costume for you. And do you want to see them? And Clint's like, no, I just kind of want to relax a little bit. Do I think they're going to kill Kingpin next episode? I think there may be a revolt if they kill Kingpin off in the next episode. I don't think Kingpin ends up back in jail. I think Kingpin ends up scot-free. I think that an hour is not enough time to wrap up this story. So I think that kind of has to happen. Where, they have to finish off and then move forward. Like that kind of thing. Especially since Echo's getting her own show, and we get our first inkling that Echo is being betrayed, and Echo is finding out she's being betrayed. That Kingpin is just using her as a weapon more than anything else. So I think that what's going to end up happening is the big conflict is going to be with Echo, and we're going to get what I thought should have happened in the Wonder Woman, where it's just, between, or, let's use, a realistic one. What happened at the end of Loki? At the end of Loki, it's not a big fight conflict. It's a conversation where these people are sitting down and talking. And I like the idea that, that's what I would like to see, is an episode of something where we get what happened during the blip. Because I'm going to maintain that, based on where Daredevil ends and where this picks up, he couldn't have, Fisk had to have been blipped, and Daredevil, well, no, Fisk wasn't, Daredevil was, in Infinity War. That way, you have a reason why Fisk can rebuild his empire and build it up to this point. And we know Daredevil, does exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If Fisk does, then Daredevil does too. So it'd be cool if they did a little connective tissue, like they did here with Yelena in the beginning of this episode, where it opens up with, here's what Yelena's been up to, here's what, what's it called? Here's what Yelena's been up to. Here is what is going on with her, even up until, it basically brings you from Black Widow to the present. Because it's it presumably she talks to the friend, who immediately she returns and she immediately knows that Natasha's dead somehow. Even though, the snap happens, and then they're currently the fight is currently happening. That's the thing I think that people don't really reckon with, is that when the snap happens and everyone returns, it's not even the first snap was not instant, but it was kind of a slow, I would say within probably 10 minutes it was done, because Clinton's entire family just vanishes pretty quickly, but it's kind of it takes a lot to I think that that's the thing. It's they kind of forgot that that fight was still ongoing. It's not like they knew in that exact second and Natasha sacrificed herself and all of that. But it's easy to figure out what happened from there. It's she's getting brought up to speed with what happened, and then she is going to Natasha's grave, where she's going to meet with Elaine, who's going to send her off on the mission to kill Kingpin. I saw a theory online that really she's Vanessa Fisk. I don't believe that. I do believe that she's just Madam Hydra. And I think that the idea that her mom is Hydra and Fisk is working with Hydra is a cool idea. Just considering what Fisk always he hates, he has this hate for, the heroes, and he's always trying to rule with an iron fist. It would make sense that he would align with Hydra. So I don't know. And the thing is too, it's we haven't even confirmed that Contessa de whatever the fuck her name is Madam Hydra, but we know from the comics that she's Madam Hydra, so I just refer to her as Madam Hydra because she's got a fucking long ass name that no one gives a fuck about. But the idea that, this relationship, the way they do the relationship with Yelena and Kate is probably the best part of the episode. Aside from like the last 12 seconds when they reveal Kingpin and Hawkeye points like that's Kingpin. And it's like, oh, cool, alright. But they talk about, when the two of them are there talking, their relationship's great. And it's like Yelena making macaroni and cheese. And the two of them just chilling, eating the macaroni and cheese, is hilarious. And then, like, Yelena trying to convince Kate to eat with her, and then criticizing Kate's life choices for, like, why do you only have one fork? And Kate's like, I'm just one person, why do I need more than one fork? And I think that the problem with, the whole thing is great. The whole thing is, is hilarious. And I hope that this relationship goes further. I have one small nitpick, though. I genuinely hope that they do like they did with Scarlet Witch and have her slowly ditch the accent, because the accent's annoying. The Russian accent. It's grating. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't really notice it in Black Widow because she's kind of a supporting character. But in here, where she has entire long sequences of dialogue. And the thing is, too, in Black Widow, she's one of, 5 characters that are doing fake Russian accents, because Rachel Weisz is doing one, too, and, what's his name, is doing one, too. Hopper from Stranger Things is doing one, too. But here, it's kind of noticeable, because she's the only one doing the fake accent, and it's kind of like, alright, cool, you can do a fake accent, moving along, let's get on with our day, let's, I don't need to see, her do a fake accent for an entire, for an entire, movie, because that would get grading very easily. Now, they are going to make more Black Widow movies. Scarlett Johansson's been on the record saying she's going to be executive producing more movies for Marvel Studios, and I think that that's, more Black Widow stuff, and I think that that's going to be Yelena's movies, and I think that, we're going to have a future with her. I hope we get this kind of, friendship between the two of them. It's a really cute friendship, the way the two of them kind of, play off of each other, because they both have a kind of, not dry, Yelena definitely has a dry sarcasm to her, and it makes it's really funny the way she does it, and then Kate has an endearing over eagerness to her that play off each other well, and there's a great scene where it's she's like, I'm not gonna kill you, and it's the two of them have this back and forth about how if Yelena was going to kill Kate, Kate would already be dead, and it's I wouldn't even be able to close the door, and it's the way the two, and it's the way the two of them play off of each other is really great. So I hope we get more of that in the future. And the other thing I don't like is the idea that somehow Kate was able to talk Yelena out of killing Clint. I don't think that that's necessarily something that needed to happen, because I just feel like it's they don't even mention the fact that what really happened. I think Clint should have gotten that chance to explain to Yelena what happened. Look, it should have been me. And I think that that's the big thing that Clint should be grappling with over the course of this show, is that it should have been him who went and took the dive off the cliff. Like, it should have been him who died and gave his life to save the universe, not Natasha. And, like, we see inklings of that, and inklings of the survivor's guilt that he has, but not enough to really make that a theme of the show, I don't think. And I think that if that was there a little bit more, to make the show a little bit better, but at this point, it's like, you know, whatever, just moving along. We got one episode left, like, there's not, like, and there's still a lot of loose ends, well, not really, it's like, if Kingpin is the one at the end, it's, you know, one loose end, like, it's kind of like a braid more than a loose end, they gotta kind of, you know, like, rectify by the end of the show. I don't know, I feel like the show, and the thing is, too, it's like, I wonder how the Kingpin twist plays for someone who didn't, like, well, twist is a loose word here, it's kind of, it was kind of obvious the entire way through that that's where they were going, but I wonder how the Kingpin reveal plays for someone who didn't watch Daredevil, because I know, like, for me, I watched Daredevil, and because I watched Daredevil, it was a big holy shit. But for someone who didn't watch Daredevil, how does it play? I think it's a valid question that I would like an answer to. So we'll wrap up there with Hawkeye episode 5, and then we'll be back next week with Hawkeye episode 6. Later tonight, we have the arrival of Spider-Man No Way Home, and I will be discussing that in a 3-part format, I believe. No, I won't be doing a 3-part format. I'll just be doing 2 separate reviews, one with spoilers and one without spoilers. So I'm going to put up 2 separate versions. One will be clearly noted that there are spoilers in it. One will be clearly noted that there are no spoilers in it. So we're going to, you know, keep that on the wrap. I'm not going to do 2 tonight. I'm probably going to do the spoiler-free tonight and the spoiler-filled recap tomorrow. Only because that's a lot to record in one night, and I don't want to shortchange it or anything. So, you know, I want to let it sit, you know, like, let stand for 20 minutes and see how it goes, you know. And unlike other movies where I'm able to see it twice in one weekend, like Spider-Man, I'm not able to see twice this weekend because they're sold out. Tickets are sold the fuck out. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Well, no, I know how the fuck that happened, but, you know. The cinema is not dead. So Spider-Man No Way Home, maybe American Underdog tomorrow, who knows, Hawkeye next week. Eventually I'll get around to doing my full season of, my full season review of Wheel of Time. And then, yeah. So we'll wrap up there for today. So until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.